voila, voila. So I have just revealed an arched cabinet, very dirty arched cabinet. I'm going to be doing a makeover on it. Let me just turn it around here for you and let you see. It is very heavy, very top heavy. I'm going to give whoever purchases this an anchor system for the back because it definitely, I would recommend it be anchored to the wall. So I needed an extra set of hands. So if you have a big piece like this, you'll understand that you definitely need another person to help you with certain aspects of it. My husband was kind enough to help with a lot of it. He's very supportive of me and I really appreciate that. First thing we're going to do is take off the backing and remove the 2 mirrors that are under the backing. I'm just using a thick scraper tool to get all those staples removed. Well, not removed, at least removed from the back of the piece, and then we'll have to pull a bunch of them out. Patience is the key in this part because if that mirror falls out or flies out and breaks, you've got a big mess on your hands. So very heavy, large mirror on the top, a little bit smaller mirror on the bottom, and we'll see how this works out. So my husband was wearing sweatpants in this first part that were kind of loose. And when he'd bend over, he didn't want you to see the moon. So he eventually went in and changed to his jeans. So he'd be mad at me for telling you that, but that's okay. So we're removing the bottom part of the mirror here, and it kind of falls on the floor a little bit during the process, but luckily it doesn't break, and it's not very far of a fall. Wait for it, oh, there it is. It came out and it immediately wants to fall to the front because all of that weight of the mirror is on the back. And so you have to hold it up or lean it against something. So we decided to prop it up against another piece of furniture so we could get the rest of the glass out. There were about a million staples. Bam, bam, bam. We're ready with our pliers, ready to get those staples out. And we are just using whatever we can. A little bit of a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and then turning them and twisting them to get them out. And it's a long process, but we have our little cup that we're putting the staples in so we don't have them all over our floor. And then we're going to town. The last staple. Yes! I was so happy about this. I had to do the happy dance. I am going to keep this light, but I'm going to paint the housing on matte black probably. So I'm just unscrewing the light and it comes out fairly easily. So I got some painter's tape and we decided that it would be a good idea to label all of the glasses very descriptively about where they are and top and bottom so that when we go to put these back in, it won't be confusing. Or maybe I should say it won't be as confusing. So my little baby doggy Maggie came out when we had the door open and she decided she wanted to take a look and make sure it was okay. And it is, so I got big kisses. And I can't remember what these rubber pieces are called. This is some trim that go in the sides to hold in all of the mirrors. And we just grab the piece of the top, pull them out, label each of those, top and bottom, right, front, left, whatever, and so that we can make sure that those go in the correct positions as well. Time to clean. I have my Pure Power by Farmhouse Paint, and I'm cleaning the surface to get all of the grease, grime, dirt, anything that's on that, so that when I go to prime and paint, my products will stick to the surface. I also rinse with water after I'm finished with the cleaner. And per usual, there's also celebrations along the way. I decided to put this piece on its back so that I could sand it and get around all the sides without having to jump on a ladder every 5 seconds. Here I'm just scuff sanding with a 150. That gets the shiny surface all smoothed down and ready for primer. When I'm finished with a section, I always squirt some water on my rag, just mist it, and then I clean off that dust. Here I am, I put it up right so I could get the taller areas in the back a lot better without having to lean over so far. I decided to replace the backboard with an oak plywood. Nice pretty grain, it's a light color, and I'm going to cut these 2 angles with my jigsaw. So I'm just drawing a line on some painter's tape that will help the wood not split as badly when I cut it, and I'm cutting off those angles with my jigsaw. Slow and steady on it with a jigsaw. This is sped up, so it is not really that fast. You want to go slow and steady so your cut will be a little bit smoother. Tried it on the back. It was a little too big in one area, so I took my sander and I sanded down the area where it was a little too wide and wouldn't go into the back successfully. But here we go. We're going to try again, making sure it's in each edge into that recessed area of the wood. I'm getting ready to give my husband a high five because it worked. Oh, he wasn't ready. We'll try it again. Let's see if he's ready this time. Oh yeah, up top. There's a lot of sanding in furniture refinishing. I always say that. So I'm sanding both sides of this down, and then I am also sanding down the 2 ends you'll see behind me there. Those are the 2 sides. I've decided to replace them with the oak plywood also, instead of having glass on the sides. So I'm not sure if it's going to be glass or the oak. I'm going to figure that out, paint them, and then see what I like when it's all done. I always brush it off with my big brush, then wipe it off with a dampened rag. And here I am sanding down the sides. So there was a couple places where the veneer splintered off of the side pieces. So I'm using my Bondo all-purpose putty. It is a 2-part putty. You have the Bondo, and then you have the blue tube of cream hardener that you put just a little, I don't know, I never measure, a little bit on the top of it, mix it in real well, put that on, smooth that onto your repairs, and then it dries in probably, 15-20 minutes, and then you can sand it smooth. Since I'm painting it, I don't have to worry that it's going to be a bluish color. So I was undecided also what color to stain or paint wash the inside of the back of the cabinet, that big part that's going to replace the mirror in the back. So I'm using some different stains and paint washes, and I'm just doing some samples on a spare board that I had that was the same exact board. It was cut at the same time. So I'm trying these out and we'll see which one I like. I encourage you to try to use sample boards to try out your stains, because all different wood species take stains in a different way and they're not the same colors exactly. So do some samples if you can. Do it on the back of your piece, on the underneath of a table, on an extra piece that you have that's the same exact wood. And if you can do that, it really helps you save time and disappointment. And with these two, the Fusion Algonquin and the Fusion Cathedral Taupe, which is not the right jar, but that's what I have in there, I'm just putting a little bit of paint and probably 5 times as much water, mixing it up, spreading it on that surface, and then wiping it immediately back. It doesn't look any that different right now, but when it dries, it has a nice tone to the wood, and it gets rid of those orange tones in the wood so you don't see that orangey or yellowish look. Because this was such a lengthy makeover, I did make a 2-part video. This is part 1. Join me for part 2 to see what comes next.